The third step is the follow-up and close. Now, follow-up, we put that in there because so many people are prospecting, but they're not following up with those people, okay? Someone says, hey, call me next week. Well, call them specifically. Get a day timer. And they say, well, next week's too vague, Bob. When next week? Say Tuesday. Okay, great. On Tuesday, in your day timer, you put that person's name and number in there and you follow up. Or someone says, hey, you know, right now my company's going pretty good, but, you know, me and my downline may be looking for a home soon. You know, I'll tell you what, I'll check back with you in a little while. You go 60, 90 days forward in your day timer and you follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. I'm telling you. Depending on how much prospecting you're doing, if you're doing a lot, you're going to lose track of all of your prospects. So you need to have it all written down. And I like to keep track of my prospects, top prospects as well, so that I'm involved in all of that. I call that phase one. We have the 4 phases. That's a different video where I'm in phase one. I'm engaged. I'm doing it. I'm prospecting and I'm working my prospects, new prospects, so I can get as many people exposed to this business as possible. But the follow-up I'm talking about is there are also going to be people that when you show them for whatever reason, you can't close them right on the spot. There are people like that. I recommend you think like a one-call closer. You do the presentation, you close them right on the spot. You get them on a conference call, you close them that night. You get them to watch the DVD, you close them right there. But there are going to be some people you don't close, and then once again, the fortune is in the follow-up. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You want to keep with someone applying very light pressure. You don't want to overwhelm someone or blow them out. If they say no, most times I've found no means not yet. So if you keep following up, you'll pick up a lot of treasures that the people who have a yes or no attitude, well, they won't get those treasures by their follow-up skills. Some people are like, in or out, yes or no, right now, in or out. Now, I'm a one-call closer, but if I don't get someone I want right now, believe me, they go into my follow-up system and I stay on them until I get them or I exhaust every bit of energy I possibly can, because it's my company, it's my business, it's my future, and if I want someone, I'm going to do whatever I can to get them on the team. Now let's talk about what I love to talk about, which is closing. And just so you know, when I first started in sales many years ago, I started selling knives and dish and pots and pans door to door. Pots and pans cost $2,000 a set. And the last thing I wanted to do was close. I tried to prevent closing. I put it off and put it off. There was actually many presentations I never tried to close a sale because I was so afraid of closing. Needless to say, that's ridiculous, okay? You've got to close or you'll never ever make a sale. So now I've learned to love closing. Now, first of all, here's the deal with closing. If you're brand new, let your sponsor close for you, or let your significant upline who knows what's going on. It's very hard to close your own warm market. So if I'm working in a city, I'm doing a 2-on-1, we get there, I just set everything up, my expert does the presentation and closes, and I just nod and smile and speak whenever the sponsor or upline asks me to do so. If we're at a live presentation, I bring my guest, I sit next to him, this is great, oh, isn't this great, oh my gosh, at the end I go, wasn't that wonderful? Great, let's go talk to Mary and see, you know, she'll, get you started with the business, or she'll answer any questions. And once again, I put it off on my sponsor to close somebody for me if I'm brand new and it's my warm market. Now, I know some of you are going, but Mark, you don't understand. You know, they do meetings in my town, but my sponsor's not here and there's no one to help me. Or this company doesn't have any live meetings in my city. You know, all I have to do is show someone a DVD or get them on a conference call. Perfect. No worries, same thing still applies. The conference call's over, I get my new person on the phone who got on the phone, I go, Mary, wasn't that great? And they go, yeah. I go, hold on 1 second. 3-way calling. You can't do network marketing without understanding 3-way calling. You put them on hold, you've already let your upline know you got a good prospect, you dial them real fast, or better yet, already have your upline on the phone. So you click over either immediately or within a few seconds by the time you get your upline and go, Mary, remember I was telling you about John Smith? Well, I've got John Smith on the phone and he just wanted to go ahead and share with you how to get started in business. John, this is Mary. And then once again, you're out of it. Or if you're doing a presentation and you got a bunch of people there and they're your warm market, you go, hey, hold on for 1 second. I've already prearranged. I'm going to get Dave Johnson on the phone right now. So you call Dave, go, Dave, are you there? Remember I told you I was going to have a bunch of people over. We just watched the company DVD and I have a bunch of excited people right now. Hold on one sec. I put the phone on speakerphone and now Dave Johnson is closing all my prospects for me. So always let someone who you've edified, who has some credibility, close for you when you're brand new. Now, how long does it take until you start doing your own closing? That's just a very subjective question. Some people it takes them quite a while. Some people they do it almost overnight. But here's the deal. When you are closing your own prospects, once again, same basic deal. You've got to be assertive. You can't sit there and wait and hope. Hope in this hand, spit in this hand. The one with the spit fills up quicker, I promise you. I've never actually done that, but it's a pretty safe assumption. So here's the deal. Whatever it is, if it's a conference call, I call my person up and go, John, that was incredible, wasn't it? Great. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to go ahead and get started with both products or you just want to get one tonight? It's an alternate of choice question. The meeting is over. I turn to my prospect. I go, geez, that was phenomenal, wasn't it? I told you he was great. Now let me ask you a question, Mary. Do you want to go ahead and get the products and sign up for the training or you just want to get the products tonight? Once again, it's an alternate of choice question. We need to take action after a meeting. This is what kills me more than anything. After a meeting, people say, so, do you have any questions? Now, everyone's got different philosophies, but you know what? That to me is the last thing you want to do. That's inviting them to bombard you with objections and questions, okay? I turn to them and assume that all their questions were answered during the course of the presentation. I assume the sale. Just like when you go up to the counter at Macy's, do you put the sweater on the counter and does the girl go, do you have any questions about that sweater before you buy it? Or does she stick out her hand and go, cash or charge? See, that's another thing we do. Whenever you ask a closing question, there's three things, okay? I like using alternative choice questions. There's other types of closing questions we'll get to on different videos as we go along. But for the time being, whenever I ask a closing question, three things have to happen simultaneously. Number one, maintain your eye contact with the prospect. Do not look away because now the moment of confrontation is there. And for God's sakes, notice I said maintain eye contact. I didn't say make eye contact. If you're not looking your prospect square in the eyes during the entire presentation, and especially during the closing sequence, your odds of making the sale are very slim. The eyes are the mirror of the soul. People buy from you because they like you and trust you. If you're confident and believe in what you're doing, there's no reason you won't be looking right at them. The greatest closers and greatest salespeople and greatest leaders I know lock eye contact with whoever they're talking about and never let it go. And believe me, there's very few people, if you think about it, that you would ever put into that category in your mind. It's a learned skill for most people. So I maintain my eye contact. Even though there's pressure and even though I'm a little nervous, I do not look away or look down or anything. I maintain my eye contact, number one. Number two, I am dead silent. We maintain radio silence here. Dead, zero silence. The oldest rule I know of in closing a sale is after you ask a closing question, the first person that talks loses. Years and years ago, I had a mentor. We went to Philadelphia. This guy was making so much money. He was my idol. We were cruising down the Diamond District in Philadelphia as we're walking down there, and I knew he wanted to buy a bunch of stuff, and I knew he had cash on him. He goes, Mark, let me tell you something. I'm going to negotiate this deal. You're not going to believe it. I'm like, oh, come on. You know, I know you're great, but I mean, he goes, I'm going to get this for less than 50% of the price they ask. And in my head, I'm going, whatever. So we go in. He was looking at a beautiful ring for himself, diamond earrings for his top female producer, all sorts of different stuff. He had all these things laid out. And these were top Diamond District people who've been around for years and years and years. Consummate salesperson with my mentor, consummate sales trainer. And when all came said and done, the salesperson asked a closing question. There was about $60,000 worth of stuff out there. And he said, well, do you want to go ahead and get it or not? And he asked the question and was dead silent. Now, I knew what was going to happen. I knew that he was going to not say another word because he asked a closing question, but I also knew my mentor knew what was going on, so I looked at him. Then I looked at him. Then I looked at him. You ever watch a tennis match, a great tennis match? It went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And finally, literally, after almost 2 minutes of dead silence, the salesperson said, well, let me see what we might be able to do. And we walked out paying about $25,000 for $60,000 worth of incredible diamond jewelry. The truth is, the first person that talks after you ask a closing question loses. Third thing, first thing, maintain eye contact. Second thing, dead silent. Third thing, smile. I'm a big believer in smiling. When you're prospecting, smile. When you're on the phone, have a mirror there and smile. But certainly when you're closing a sale, smile. People buy from you because they like you and trust you. And how can you not like someone who's smiling, especially at the moment of truth? It's good to smile throughout your presentation, but at the end of the presentation, man, you got a big old Magic Johnson grin. You are just bringing those pearly whites out. And you know what? Even if your pearly whites aren't real white, even if you got braces, even if you're missing a tooth, nothing shows sincerity and makes you more likable than when you're smiling. So when you get done with the deal, you go, so do you want to go ahead and get both products or just get one? And you hold that pose until they say something. Believe me, that's what it takes to be a really good closer. And you know what? It's literally that simple. Now, on another video, we'll talk about overcoming objections. We're going to come up with the most commonly asked questions and objections. That's a totally separate deal. But for the time being, just understand from what I'm doing here, maintain your eye contact, don't say a word, and give them a big old smile and wait. Just be patient. I know there's pressure, but remember, you're the one that's exerting the pressure. So as much as the pressure is making you uncomfortable, I promise you it's making them more uncomfortable. And for those of you that are yellows, if you watch a personality profiling, oh, I don't want to do anything and manipulate anyone. You're not manipulating them. Average people take forever to make up their mind. If you believe in your company, believe in your product, believe in your service, believe in the value, believe in the training, whatever it is you're trying to get someone to commit to, we all understand, those of us that are successful, that there's magic in commitment. And I understand if they don't spend the money with me, they're going to waste it on some ludicrous infomercial or some silly thing, or drink it up in lattes or beers or whatever. So I have no doubt when I'm done presenting whatever I'm presenting, because I wouldn't be in something if I didn't believe it in my heart and soul. When I'm done, those people need to get that product. And I know that if I act as a catalyst, what's a catalyst from science? It's a Bunsen burner, something that takes a body at rest and gets it to make a reaction, okay? I am going to be a catalyst because I know most people need a slight catalyst. They want to spend the money. They just have to have a way to justify it. They need a little bump over the hump or off the fence. So all I'm doing afterwards is, this is great. I'm assuming the sale. I'm being positive. Do you want this or that? And then I maintain my eye contact, I smile, and I do not say a word. And believe me, it'll take you a while to get that. In the beginning, it may be a little choppy. You're going to go, so Bob, do you want to go ahead and get one of my services or both of them? You may really make a mess out of it for a while, or you may go, do you want to get this or that? You may do some really silly things for a while, but you know what? Those people will long forget your silly moments. And the greatest part is when you get this down where you're unconsciously competent. That's another thing we talk about in another video, the stages of learning. When you're unconsciously competent at closing a sale, you won't just be good at selling a sale for your product or service or getting someone in your business. It'll be everything you do. It may even be a skill that you use in the ultimate sales presentation, which is getting the love of your life to say they do when you ask that big question. So go ahead and watch this video as many times as you need to. The fortune is in the follow-up, but we must be willing to make the action happen. You can't shy away from closing. There's nothing wrong with closing. If you want to call it opening instead of closing, I've heard that too. This is opening their business. So I'm getting ready to open someone. Whatever makes you feel good, understand that the person who closed Marc Accetta on getting in this industry is one of my favorite people in the history of my life. And believe me, he closed me. I tried to get out of it. He didn't listen to my excuse. He closed the sale, and I've made millions of dollars since, and I thank God for him every day. And hopefully someday you'll be such a good closer, people will be thanking God for you as well.